Do you feel this emotional hunger too? This sort of craving for things to be different, for things to be better, so you can finally be happy and live a good life? So you can finally be proud of yourself? Because I know I definitely do. And look, I don't think social media is making this any better or any easier. Because if you find yourself going on Instagram and you start seeing these photos and these stories of people seemingly living their best lives while you don't, it's not making things better, it's making things worse. But really important, I don't think it's social media that creates this problem. Sure, social media amplifies this emotional hunger, but it doesn't create it. It just amplifies a problem that already exists. And that's what I want to talk to you about in this video. I want to share with you where, in my opinion, where this emotional hunger comes from and why does it appear in our lives? Why does it seem to just make our life quality worse? Okay? And let me share with you something I've read in a really interesting book. It's called 4,000 Weeks. It's a book about productivity and time management, essentially. It's not these traditional productivity strategies to make you more efficient so you can cram more work into your schedule and feel more productive. It's about real productivity, and I'm gonna tell you what it is in just a second. But first, let me share this with you. So, it says like this: emotional hunger often creeps in when you're too busy to prioritize what truly matters. Okay? That's where it comes from. And I know this statement sounds a little bit general, it sounds a little bit too broad, but I'm gonna give you 3 examples, 3 different situations in which emotional hunger appears and in which it seems to make our life worse, especially if we don't deal with it properly. So the first situation is when you're emotionally hungry for purpose. Okay? And look, if you clicked on this video, you're probably a high achiever, you want to become successful, and you're also probably pretty busy, like you're working a lot, you're getting things done, and you have this craving to finally find that one thing to which you can dedicate yourself 100%, to which you can put time, effort, and energy so you can become good at it, so you can become successful and get, the recognition that you want, so you can feel good about yourself and feel proud about yourself. Okay? And honestly, having this feeling, this emotional hunger for purpose is natural. Like, as humans, we are goal-seeking mechanisms. We just function with having goals in mind. If we don't have any goal, we stop functioning well, We're just wired like that. But if having emotional hunger for purpose is natural, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do anything about it or that it will be solved by itself. All right? There's still something you can do here, and the reason why it appears in the first place is because you're looking at productivity the wrong way. Okay? Real productivity isn't doing more tasks, it's actually making progress. All right? Real productivity isn't working longer hours, isn't doing more things or grinding more, even though that's what the hustle culture says. And I don't blame you if you're thinking this. I used to think this as well. But real productivity is when you're making progress in something that's actually meaningful to you and in your life. So instead of doing 7 things that make you feel productive but ultimately don't mean anything, you could do just that one thing that you keep postponing, that you keep saying that, hey, I'm gonna do this when I have a larger chunk of time I can dedicate to it. Because it's important. I know it's important. I have to have more time for it. But that time never seems to come, does it? So that's why emotional hunger appears when it comes to purpose. Because we fail to properly prioritize the work that really matters. The work that would actually help us make progress and move ahead in life. Okay? So that's with purpose. Now, the second place where it appears is with self-acceptance. You're emotionally hungry for self-acceptance. Okay? Because again, you're probably working a lot and you want to finally feel successful. You want to finally feel proud of yourself because you have achieved whatever goal you have in mind. And let me give you my example, just for an example purpose. So I'm making these videos, right? And I obviously want my effort to pay off. I want these videos to get views. I want these videos to help people. And the longer I'm making them, the longer I go without seeing that kind of recognition, the more I'm thinking that, hey, I'm kind of getting restless here. I kind of want that to happen so I can finally have a reason to be proud of myself. So I can finally have a reason to accept and recognize my effort and so on and so forth. Maybe you're thinking like that too. And that's why emotional hunger for self-acceptance appears, because you're outsourcing your self-worth or your self-respect to getting some external outcomes, to getting some external recognition. All right? But here's the thing. Self-acceptance isn't a reward for something you do, isn't a reward for something you accomplish. Self-acceptance is a choice you make in the present. Okay? It's a choice of choosing, It's choosing positive thoughts over negative thoughts. So if you do something and you fail, for example, instead of criticizing yourself, instead of blaming yourself and all of that negative stuff, you could just, be grateful to yourself that you did it anyway, even though you didn't know if it was gonna work out. You can encourage yourself and motivate yourself to try again the next time. It's gonna be better the next time, isn't it? So, of course, emotional hunger appears, for self-acceptance appears when you're acting like you're your worst enemy, when you don't recognize anything of what you're doing and you're just choosing criticism and blame over gratitude and encouragement. So all I can say here is just give yourself some slack, man. Just relax a little bit, start treating yourself like you would treat your best friends, and stop being your worst enemy. Stop criticizing yourself, because that's not noble, that's not, virtuous. Taking care and being proud of yourself, choosing to be proud of the effort you're putting in, is actually the virtuous thing to do. Okay? And now the third place, and surely it has to be the most common situation where people feel emotional hunger, is when you're emotionally hungry for connection. Okay? For the situations where you just want to find that one person who is going to love you exactly as you are and who you can love back with everything you have. Life would be so much better with such a person in our lives, wouldn't it? And again, it's only natural to feel this way. It's a natural feeling to have, but that doesn't mean it's gonna solve itself. That doesn't mean you have to live with it and do nothing about it. Okay? And look, the problem here when you're craving to find that one person that's gonna fill the void is that you can't really control love. If there is something I've learned in the 26 years I've been on this planet, is that you can't force finding a good partner for yourself. If God doesn't think you're ready for a good person, for the person that He has in mind for you, that He prepared for you, He's not gonna give it to you. And He's not gonna distract you with other potentially damaging relationships either. He's gonna protect you, and He's gonna wait until He's gonna present challenges and opportunities in your life that's gonna help you grow and that's gonna help you learn, so you can finally become ready and worthy of the amazing person He prepared for you. Okay? So you can't force love. But the key thing to understand here is that love and romantic relationships aren't the only source of connection. They're not. There's plenty more sources of connection. I have 3 to share with you right now. The first one, all of 3, by the way, I'm working towards as well. So I'm not just talking about you here, I'm talking about myself as well, even though I'm using the second person. So the first source is connection, getting connection from friends. And what I mean by this is maybe making a new friend. In my case, it would be a high quality male friend. And, trying to invest more in that relationship. Creating memories with that person, like going on a road trip, going in nature with them, going to a barbecue, going fishing, or whatever it happens to be. Just creating memories and investing more in a one-on-one connection with a person that's not romantically involved with you. Okay? That's an amazing source of connection. And look, it requires some effort and it requires some dedication, because surface level socialization, just having casual chats with strangers or with people isn't enough to give you that sense of connection. There has to be some intimacy involved. And I don't mean that in the romantic sexual way, but in just the way of creating something unique between you two. All right? Or something deeper at least, if not unique. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. So the second source of connection is nature. As crazy as it sounds, if you go out there in nature, in a forest or near a lake, near the sea, or whatever places you prefer, you are going to get to receive connection from the nature. It sounds crazy, but it's going to happen. If you do this, even if you do it just once, your feeling for connection, your craving and desire for connection is going to drop. You're going to feel better. And if you do this consistently, it's going to stay level, especially if you combine it with the friend thing. Like if you go with a friend in nature, you're doing two things at once. You're shooting two rabbits in one shot. It's just amazing what this can do. And the third one would be, again, another personal favorite of mine. You can get some connection by simply connecting more with yourself. All right? So going back to the example where you would encourage yourself and motivate yourself when you fail instead of criticizing yourself, this is sort of similar, except when you're trying to connect with yourself and act like your best friend, you not only encourage yourself, but you also reward yourself for whatever things you do or effort you put in and so on and so forth. So reward yourself from time to time. Go on a nice restaurant. That can be a nice reward. Or go on a road trip by yourself or again with a friend. And just, in my case, I'm looking to do some more adventures. Some more interesting stuff. For example, right now, as it's warmer outside and the weather is nice, I want to go play some chess with the old people in the park. Like, there's plenty of old men in the park playing chess, and I want to go play with them, even though there's this kind of small social anxiety in the middle, but I just want to do that because I like chess, and why not maybe connect with some other people as well in the meantime. But it's just a challenge, an adventure I'm doing for myself, to connect more with myself, all right? To invest more in the relationship with myself and reward myself for the other things I'm doing in the rest of the time. Okay, so these are the three sources of connection you can tap into: friends, nature, and yourself. And all in all, the conclusion of this video would be that emotional hunger appears when you fail to prioritize what truly matters. Real productivity, by the way, because I did mention this book and it's about productivity. Real productivity is when you prioritize what matters. So if you don't feel like you're missing out because you're not doing all the other things you could be doing, and that would be helpful, that definitely seem important, if you don't feel like you're missing out, you're not really prioritizing. And that applies to purpose, to love and connection, and to self-acceptance, and many, many, many more places. So hopefully you found this video helpful and you're gonna make use of it to improve the quality of your life in whatever area you're struggling with most. And yeah, we're gonna see each other into the next one. Until next time.